what is up? I am here today to talk to you super quick about van electrical systems. I'm a member of a whole bunch of van life groups on Facebook, and I just constantly see the same questions coming up over and over about how do I figure out what I need as far as a power source, and what's the difference between this battery and that battery, and what gauge wires do I need? All of these things that go into figuring out your electrical system that will power your devices and that will suit your needs when you're on the road or parking or camping or whatever. So I figured I'd just come here and explain some of the basics. This is information that I would have found really helpful to have in one nice, easy to digest place. So I figured I'd make it. And then you guys can take it and make your van life dreams come true, in theory. One disclaimer. I'm not an electrician. I am not a professional van builder. This is not stuff that I am recommending anybody does on their own or that you should dive into without having done the proper research and really feeling comfy with your skills and your ability to do these things. Okay, item number one. Let's talk power sources. Do you have to have a big old battery in the back of your van and hard wires to outlets in your van to power your van life? Nope, you don't. Did you know that there is a whole series of portable power devices that are now available for pretty much anybody to get that don't require outlets or wiring or anything like that? It's literally just a battery with a handle, and you put it in your van and you plug your stuff into it and away you go. And they're pretty cool because they allow you to charge them through a variety of ways. One is you can actually stick a plug into your cigarette plug in the front of your van while you're on the road, and you can charge it off your battery's alternator, just like you do your actual vehicle battery. You can have an actual plug that goes into an outlet at a coffee shop, a gym, your office, wherever you might go and have access to an actual outlet. You can recharge them there. And a lot of them come with portable folding solar panels so that you can just stick it out on the lawn and recharge it if you have a sunny day. The flexibility of being able to recharge it almost anywhere you go and from a variety of different sources is extremely appealing. And it's great, especially for people who might not have the resources to hardwire solar panels and get a giant lithium battery and stick it in the back of your van. Now, if you want to go the hardwire way, we're going to talk about that as well, but I did want to make sure that people are aware that you don't have to go that route in order to power your van lifestyle. All right, number two, let's talk batteries. There are a bunch of different kinds out there in vans, and you would be surprised about some of the differences between them. Let's go through it. AGMs are a great choice for van lifers because of their affordability. They pack a lot of power and they don't carry a huge price tag like you might find with other types of batteries. The downsides are that AGMs are big. They're big and they're heavy and they take up a lot of space. So if you're going that route, just be aware that you're going to have to kind of make a nice size battery compartment in which you'll store your batteries. And also note that AGMs tend not to have as long a life as products like lithium. So you're going to need to replace them in a shorter period of time that you might have to replace a lithium battery. Another downside of AGMs is that you can only discharge them a maximum of about 50% without incurring damage to the actual battery life. So if you have a really cold night and you have a heater running off of your battery and it's running all night and really pulling the juice out and you dip down to like 48% of your total battery capacity, you've actually potentially shortened the life and shortened the amount of juice that that battery can hold for forever. So you have to be really careful when you're using AGMs to not discharge past that 50% point, and that is the absolute bottom. That means that if you have an AGM battery that's rated for 100 amp hours, you can really only use a maximum of about 50 amp hours. So whatever your battery bank is, if you're using AGMs, you can only use half of it. For that reason, we decided to go with lithium. Lithium is the gold standard as far as batteries for van lifers. They are extremely expensive, but when I think about not only the space, but the rating as far as being able to actually pull out the full amount that it's rated for, and the fact that lithium batteries tend to live longer than AGMs or other types of batteries, we decided that the upfront cost was actually going to save us money in the end, which is why we went lithium. For those who are curious, this is our lithium battery.
We got it actually on Amazon from a Chinese manufacturer. It is 300 amp hours, and so far it is acting like a champ. It's doing everything we need and more. I will drop a link down below as far as the product that we bought. We are not endorsing this product. We haven't taken it out in full-time van life, so I can't say for 100% sure that this battery is the end all and be all, but it was one of the most affordable lithium batteries that I could find. And so if you're interested in taking a look at it, I will provide that link down below for y'all to check out.
Okay, now let's talk solar. I see people on these van life communities all the time asking, how much solar do I need? Do I need solar? All of these questions about solar. And I think there's maybe a key component of understanding how a solar configuration works that people aren't understanding. You actually don't need solar panels to have a house battery recharge in your van. You can use something that's called DC to DC alternator charging to recharge your house batteries. Now, it does require some mechanic expertise, and it might require you to upgrade your alternator in your vehicle, but your vehicle, just like it charges your battery up front under the hood, can also charge your house battery in the back. If you drive enough miles per day or enough run time to actually run the alternator and charge your batteries, you don't need solar panels at all. So, is this a good option for you? There are a few things to keep in mind. In the winter time, if you are closer to the poles as opposed to close to the equator, if you're closer to those poles, you're gonna have less daylight on those really short winter days. So if you have solar panels up top, even if you have a bright sunny day, if you only have 4 or 5 hours of full sunlight, you're really not gonna get the amount that you need to really recharge those batteries on a day-to-day basis. If you're living in cold winter climates where those winter days are really short, your best bet might actually to rely on that DC to DC alternator charging as opposed to investing in solar panels. However, if you're like us and you're in sunny Florida, solar panels are an awesome option. We went the opposite of what I'm describing. We decided to only do solar panels instead of investing in DC to DC charging because we get so much sunlight year round that we don't need to worry about having the motor run in order to charge the batteries. Now, when we get to Canada, that all might change, but we don't know yet. And so we just bought and installed what we knew would work for us right now because we can always upgrade. Okay, this is a big one that drives me crazy. People seem to think that the solar panels are what provides power for you. Your solar panels don't impact how much juice you have to recharge your phone, power your laptop, or power any other devices that you might have in your van. All your solar panels do is work to recharge your batteries. So your battery bank is what determines how much juice you have to work with in order to recharge your devices and run your van life. Solar panels are only a method to recharge those batteries, which is why, again, DC to DC alternator charging might be a better choice for you if you don't live someplace where you're getting lots of sun year round. Okay, let's talk really quick about terminology. What is 12 volt versus 110 volt? 110 volt is anything that plugs into a wall socket with a traditional 2-prong plug. 12 volt is a whole variety of different things. Basically, 12 volt terminology means runs off battery. Basically what you're doing is you're taking a big battery and you're recharging a small battery. The reason that you want to go that way, if you can, is because it's the most efficient. You don't have to convert energy up or down in order to recharge the device. If you have devices that you absolutely must run in your van that are exclusively 110 volts, your laptop for instance, in order to recharge that device from the battery, you have to have another middleman there to make sure that the power coming from the battery that's 12 volt can be converted and then utilized by that device that is used to relying on 110. The middleman that achieves this is called an inverter.
This is our inverter. It's 2000 watts, which is a pretty decent size.
The inverter is nifty because it takes this crazy giant battery that you have and turns that into energy that can be consumed by normal household devices. But there is a downside, and that is that the inverter actually requires power in order to convert the power. So anytime you flip on the inverter, you're not just using the power going to the device that you're powering, you're also using power in order to just power the inverter. So it's not as efficient. If you have to use an inverter, that means that you're using power on top of power in order to utilize whatever that device is that requires the inverter. So anytime that you have the opportunity to do 12 volt, you want to try to do 12 volt. And that is why people shop around for things like 12 volt fridges, 12 volt heaters like a diesel heater, and other 12 volt VanLife devices, because it is the most efficient. You're not losing power in order to power a dorm fridge or whatever. If it is a 12 volt fridge, that means that the plug is cigarette and it goes into a cigarette plug coming from your battery, and that's the end of it. And there's no sort of conversion that needs to take place. Okay, the ultimate question. How much power do I need? How big a battery do I need? I got bad news for you. You are the only person who can decide that. What you have to do in order to really gain an understanding of what your power needs are and the size components you're going to need to power your VanLife is to do the math and the research. And that means conducting a power audit. There are a whole bunch of tools out there to help folks decide how much power they need and to do some calculations and conversions. One that I really recommend is Explorist.life. He has a website and a whole bunch of videos that talk a lot more in depth on some of these subjects, and he's definitely an expert. I highly recommend his resources. Now note, his spreadsheets are not the end all and be all. You have to have the awareness to note that sometimes these calculations might not work 100%, or he might be making some assumptions that don't apply to you when he built those formulas and those calculators. So be sure to use those tools, do your research, and I'm sorry, you gotta do the math. Again, I'm not a professional. This is just kind of a collection of the information that I found really useful when I've been getting my VanLife started, and also for people who are in the research phases and are asking these groups, what do I do? And I don't know where to look, and all of this information seems so overwhelming. Basically, I just wanted to come here and be like, okay, these are the things that I've learned. These are the things that people seem to relate to or find interesting or helpful when I make comments. And so I figured I'd just put it in a video format and you can listen to it on your lunch break or whatever. I hope this was helpful. Again, if you are not sure, be sure to consult a professional, because I'm not one. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.